Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life-changing music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, come in again. You're very, very welcome. I trust you enjoyed my last little 2-video mini-series on progressive rock band Genesis. And we looked at, in the last video, No Son of Mine, which is one of those really stories with not a happy ending. And we look at how we deal with that kind of emotion. So trust you found that one encouraging. Well, we're going on to some Georges over the next few videos. Johannes Bowens was born in 1944, Eve Gravenstraat, Horn in the Netherlands, to a single mother. So a bit of an interesting start for this guy. The guy we're talking about is George Baker. Now, George started the band Soul Invention around 1968, and they actually had one album which is pretty cool. But with a few people leaving and the rest of it, 1969, the George Baker Selection was formed. And that happened for a while, and then around 1978 he went on a bit more of a solo career, but the George Baker Selection have come back from time to time. Between 1970 and 1988 there's been 15 studio albums, so there's a lot of output right there, 7 compilation albums and around 28 singles. Now, the song, we're going to get on to the song in a minute that you've got to talk about when you talk about George Baker. But before that, he had another pretty amazing hit, Little Green Bag, from 1970, album of the same name. This one just number 16 on the Cashbox charts and number 21 on the Billboard charts. So it's a pretty popular and well-known song, this one. Estimated sold around 1 million copies in gold, so a very awesome success. There's some incredible bass guitar in this particular song, and and by the way, we've got clips in the description below for these songs. We've got a Little Green Bag, some pretty amazing bass and pretty incredible songwriting and words in this song as well. Not really know what this song's about, but the melody is absolutely amazing with a pretty incredible rhythm guitar happening. So we've got Little Green Bag. That's the live version of that one. But of course, to talk about George Baker and the George Baker Selection, you've got to talk about Una Paloma Blanca. Now you'd be thinking, now if you're around in the 1970s, you know where I'm going with this song. This is one of these songs that you cannot get out of your head once it's in there and you're thinking, oh, do I want it in there? But you know what? When it comes to bright and breezy and happy and light, this song's pretty well up there. I mean, apparently Mr. Blue Sky by ELO is considered one of the brightest, happiest songs of all time. This one is up there. This song came off of the album of the same name in 1975, and this went to number 1 in several countries. This was a massive song for George Baker when it came out. The lyrics goes, it was apparently about a poor farmer working all day, sitting by a tree, looking up at the birds and imagining freedom. Uma Paloma Blanca, I'm just a bird in the sky. No one can take my freedom away. This particular single sold 7 million copies worldwide, so very, very significant song, this one. And I suppose the song I want to focus on. Now, as I said, we've got a live version and an official version of this one. The live clip is pretty good. There's pretty amazing vocals going on here, harmonies, and the bass line is just keeping the whole thing going. The whole thing is just really up. Now, just watch the crowd. The minute you hear that opening song, the opening little few bars, you know what the song is. Everyone just has to get on their feet. This is the sort of song it is. It has well and truly got itself under the skin of the world's psyche, that is for sure. Freedom's an interesting concept, isn't it? What actually is it? I'm wondering if it's like, we're going to get that corner office, or we're going to get $1 million in the bank, or we're going to have that nice car, or maybe we're going to go on that overseas trip, into that iconic tropical location with the beautiful beaches and the palm trees and all of that, and we'll think, hey, I'm feeling free right now. Is it external though? I don't know. I wonder if it might be internal. So, that feeling that we get, we might be in that tropical beach and we're like, we're living the dream right there. But how are we feeling that freedom? Is it like there's something within us that all of these external experiences are resonating with us, resonating with that freedom that's in us, and we're thinking, oh, wow, this is really quite amazing because our freedom is getting resonated with. And I think this is very much the case with Paloma Blanca, is very much the case of like, he's chosen his freedom. He knows what freedom is and no one's going to take it away from him. And that provides another interesting little commentary too, and that effect is, if the freedom is internal, can it be taken? Well, you know, there are certainly people around the world right now who are experiencing threats to their freedom. You know, think of the Ukraine. There's many countries in Africa which are getting obliterated by minority groups at the moment. People just getting hauled off to prison for no reason. And there's an argument to say that freedom is getting absolutely slaughtered at the moment. But it was a guy in a concentration camp in World War II talked about the fact that he was watching prisoners basically die in front of him. But he chose to keep his freedom, and there was nothing that was going to take that freedom away from him. And that's actually got him through what is pretty horrendous experience. So if you're looking for freedom externally, can I challenge you perhaps to look and say, hang on a minute. Why do I feel the way that I feel when I'm free? That's freedom right there. And there's an argument to say that, you know, if you're looking for the external thing to bring you freedom, it may not come. So how great to know that perhaps the freedom is part of our internal experience. And when we experience freedom externally, it's actually resonating with that internal part of us. So, you know, freedom, I'm just a bird in the sky. There's nothing more free. As you look up and you see a bird fly, you think, wow, I'd love to do that. But you know what? Birds instinctively know how to do this thing. It's inbuilt in them. And I argue that freedom is inbuilt in us. We as human beings desire to be free, and we desire to be able to experience life for all it is. It's when it doesn't happen that we start to feel a bit challenged and feel a bit threatened about whether our freedom is actually at risk. Well, I don't think our freedom ever is at risk, because it's part of who we are. So if you're one of those moments now where your life is struggling, perhaps you need to choose freedom. You need to get back to what makes you free and what makes you get that feeling back. So yeah, that's Paloma Blanca. Who would have thought it would give us such an incredible inspiration to talk about freedom today? And we've also got Santa Lucia by Night. This is off the album Santa Lucia from 1985. This is a live version of that one. Again, just another thing. Obviously, there's very much European flavour to George Baker's music. And, you know, then you just got to imagine the whole Santa Lucia waterfront, you know, lights overhead, beautiful food, wine, laughter, the whole thing. Just really comes as those images of what freedom can feel like if you know you're free. So the links to those 1, 2, 3, 4 clips are in the description below. And I've also included my last video from my last video on Genesis. So if you want to recap on them, feel free. Well, if you come back for another one, if this is your first time to Life Reflections Through Music, thank you very much for everybody for coming back or coming here for the first time. It's great to see the engagement we've been getting as we're really and truly getting to our G's now. Well, there are a few Georges, there are a few famous Georges, aren't there? One was a Beatle, George Harrison, and that's where we're going next time. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.